Here's why I think being a pilot in Canada is the best option. This is not a popular opinion. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this because you'll always hear pilots say, when I have enough hours, it'll be my dream to move to the Middle East. I would like to fly in Dubai, or I'd like to fly in Asia, or maybe in China, and make a lot of money. Or maybe nowadays even fly in the United States and make money in US dollars. But I'm going to challenge that opinion and talk about some of the things that I've seen that make Canada the best place to be a pilot. See, I've had many opportunities over my career to move to the Middle East, or even move back home to India, where I was born, and fly there for a living. But now I'm so glad I did not do that, because as a pilot career coach, I have seen many pilots who have left the Middle East. They did their time, the 10 years, 15 years in the Middle East, and now they've come back home to Canada. Because in a lot of these countries, you do not get citizenship there. It doesn't matter how many years you've stayed there. It makes it really difficult for you to get citizenship, if not impossible. Especially when you do not have a job, a lot of these countries do not want you there anymore. So you have to leave that company and come back to Canada. Also, during the 2020 virus situation, a lot of the pilots in these Asian and Middle Eastern countries got let go without any notice, without any recall, in terms of a lot of airlines in North America that have unions. If you do get laid off, they call you back in order of seniority. But all these other airlines around the world, they don't do that. If they lay you off, that's it. If you want to come back, you have to reapply again off the street. And I've seen a lot of those pilots, obviously get really upset because they had a good life in, let's say, Dubai, and they've come to Canada and they're flying for some of the low-cost carriers. A lot of them do not want to take the status cut from being a captain to a first officer and joining, major airlines as a first officer, because in Canada, it's all based on seniority system. So what they'll end up doing is they'll end up coming back to Canada and joining airlines as direct entry captains at some of the low-cost carriers instead. That way they keep some sort of seniority in terms of their status, and they also get a decent pay as a captain. I see a lot of situations where that happens, and it makes me not want to leave Canada. Also, I've seen pilots come from the United States to Canada because some states in the USA, they don't really feel safe because of the political situation that's happening, the gun control laws. There's actually basically everybody can own a gun in the United States. So, and when they see the school shooting, they don't really feel safe for their kids. I personally don't see a big problem with that, but I know it's a big problem for a lot of pilots. And because of that, they're starting to move from the USA to Canada and convert their licenses. And how do I know? Well, they're students in my airline pilot conversion course from FAA to Canadian. So I see it all the time. And when I talk to them, those are some of the reasons. I would say a big deterrent for being a pilot in Canada for a lot of people is the low salary. In my personal opinion, salary is very important, but it's not the most important thing when deciding where to work as a pilot. It's just one small aspect of the overall picture. You got to look at, where are you safe? What's the situation? Which country you're going to have, rights to speak up, where you're going to be safe. You got to look at, the weather. Do you want to live in a country where the weather is maybe hot throughout the year? And when I say hot, I mean really unbearably hot, 40 degrees Celsius, plus humidity. Or you can be in Canada where there's, a variety of seasons. You can actually choose where you want to live in Canada. You can live on the East Coast, you can live on the West Coast, you can live in Central Canada, and you can have a whole bunch of variety of weather. Now, when it comes to the pay, I'll be honest, in Canada, it's very tough. It's probably the lowest or one of the lowest paid countries in the world for pilots. And it's slowly starting to improve. I'm seeing it over the last year where the salary in Canada is slowly increasing. I've even seen situations where medevac companies where they fly, sick passengers to the hospitals, they're starting to pay captains over $100,000. I've seen companies in Canada paying captains over $100,000 to fly, up north if you stay for a long time. I even see regional airlines such as Porter Airlines paying their pilots really well. So the industry is slowly changing in Canada where the salary is slowly increasing. So when I see those things, it makes me want to be glad and stay exactly where I am. All right, This is just my insight. It's not a popular opinion. This is just my observation of why I think you should consider staying as a pilot in Canada. All right, take care.